The game hasn't changed, but the situation has. It's still a classic case of a Luciferian ploy to say that for the betterment of innocence, we should do this, this, and that against the recommendations of God Himself, who is the author of the treatment that innocent should enjoy. Where for a moment, if some kind of sanity and concern for life had been shown by the American people, in the least, I was willing to do whatever they wanted to play for as long as they wanted. But I can't go without a shower for 3 weeks and live on 5 burritos for 2 days and think that they have any consideration for innocence. Now, I am not an innocent, that's understood. So, the contempt I have experienced is their backlashing because of my wanting or choosing to take a stance merely political. Do not harm children. But they insist. In fact, it may even be said that they've reached a place where there is no threat too great, nor promise from God of forgiveness too sincere that will deter them from the pursuit of innocence. On their terms, not to pursue innocence, to become innocent. Ralph Waldo Emerson said you would do very good to conform to innocence in a room and go coochie coochie coo when you see a baby, instead of demanding that that baby conform to you and smoke a cigar or a cigarette. So this contempt that they're expressing and displaying of innocence looks to me to be from a visceral position, because that I love innocence and that they choose to attack innocence. It's the concept of innocence. It's not me or any individual. Therefore, that becomes a who they are and not what they did, and the who they are falls right into viscerality without the progression, or to even move past or evolve as a human from 20 to 30. Where compassion should now be added at 30 on to all things, because mortality is a far greater reality. So, as this visceral contempt for innocence seems to spring, take root, grow, and pollinate itself with the busy bees of the police, encouraging everybody to do whatever the hell they want, I guess the legal charge now against America has nothing to do with my testicle injury or the rape of Priscilla. The legal charge now against America has nothing to do with the 911 calls I've made, SDA 911, SDA 911. It now has to do with the general attitude and mood and condition and the who these people are, as they've chosen to take the suggestion and recommendation of the busy bees that are the cops. In pollinating, growing, manufacturing, manicuring, procuring, others who like-mindedly think that choose to agree with a cop when he tells me sarcastically he doesn't want to see the children hurt. I mean, when a cop tells me that with his 2 hands making watery eyes type of motions, I told these guys ages ago, you want to see a nuke go off, turn the keys, push the button. Now, to turn the keys, one would have to praise Satan. To turn the other key, one would have to say, fuck Jesus. Keys are turned. Okay, now touch me. And you push the button. I warned him that would be my nuke. I'm just taking everything in my mind and at disposal and all my education and knowledge, and now I'm going to focus it and bend my giant intellect to the destruction of those who demand that visceral contempt for innocence be maintained in America. And it seems to be coming from the inaugurated individual, Mr. Barack Obama, and his contempt, obviously, for Adventists. You know, we're niggardly. We're niggardly to him. He's niggardly to us at times. I understand, Mr. President, if you do hear this, I will address you directly. Ellen G. White hurt your feelings back in 1875, and she used the term niggardly to describe behavior, but she wasn't describing your behavior. She was describing a visceral contempt for innocence. That is niggardly. Root word, ignore. Root word, ignorance. So if you continue to ignore, you maintain your ignorance. In any event, the charge now against the American people has nothing to do with Armin Lugo or Priscilla Lugo or the injuries or insult that they've had to endure. We will be crucified on a cross, if you demand, for our love for Christ. That's what we bought in for. That's the waiver I signed. That's the waiver Priscilla signed. To work and walk with Christ, sign the waiver, Priscilla. To work and walk with Christ, sign the waiver, Armin. If you want to walk with me, you may be literally crucified. Priscilla and I signed the waiver. But we do not give up our American rights with our love for Christ. We do not invite harm to the temple of God by displaying a willingness to do anything to maintain our love for Christ and to contain your imaginations so that you'll know that Priscilla and I are very, very serious about our love for Jesus. It's that simple. Now, I don't want to be sarcastic. I just want to be straightforward and truly without any eloquence on this one. Was not America brought forth because Armin and Priscilla in Europe could not just simply love Jesus and be left the fuck alone? Constantly with England, constantly with Rome, constantly with the Vatican, constantly with Spain and their Luciferians, France with their beautiful women tempting us, Germany with their young boys swift and clean drawing us to war. The good Lord made preparations to bring Priscilla, my mother, and myself to a land where you shall not have a cop on your ass for a simple argument between mother and son, nor shall you have the church, state, and bonds trying to starve you out because you say, I love Jesus, and we're not gay. May the Lord bless and keep, as David says, plainly. For as the saints in the land, they are the excellent ones, in whom is all my delight. So those yet on the North American continent who choose to pursue a love of law and order. And those who choose to pursue yet a love for their God, as they have determined, God be with you, my God, the God of Abraham. Now, the intricacies of the problem are that the good has to be allowed to grow with the bad, and the bad has to be allowed to grow with the good. Priscilla will put up with all the thorns and thistles the Lord may bring upon us. It will only strengthen and resolve our love for Christ. Now, the charge of visceral contempt for innocence removes any action Armin Lugo or Priscilla Lugo may legally take against the individuals or groups of American people. Therefore, castration is off the board. Incarceration is off the board. Now, with your visceral contempt of Priscilla acted out against her only son who may not join the military because he is her only son. Your visceral contempt for Priscilla now brings to its entirety, as was stated by Europe over 25 years ago. Keep it up, America, and for you, we will come up with a final solution.